Hello, my name is Delit, and I want to share my love of cross stitching with you today. I've had a little trouble with my videos because I've been saving too many on my laptop. So I could run out of space and it will cut the video off at the end. And so in case it does that, just know that I would love it if you commented in the area below the video. If you like to do that sort of thing, I love to read your comments. Anything about anything in the video or cross stitching, needlework in general. So today I'm going to start the videos with the British magazines. I love the British magazines. They're kind of like books, both in how much they cost and in every other way, really, except that they're not hardbound and they're a magazine. But they have a lot of things that are similar to like if you were to buy a cross stitch book. I have a variety of different British magazines. I obviously, living in the United States, have never had a subscription to a British magazine. Wouldn't that be nice? Man, I'd really look forward to that every time they came. And so, because they're kind of pricey to buy, I don't have nearly as many of those as I have of the American magazines. However, because they are slightly bigger than an American magazine and contain more, in a way I have more for what I have, for how many I have. So let me just show you which magazines I have. I'm not going to go through all of them in one video, simply because I can't. I'll get tired, believe it or not. I'm sure there was a time when I wouldn't have, but now I would. So in looking through them, I said, I think this is I thought that Cross Stitch Gold was my favorite, but some of my favorite, a lot of my favorite patterns were in Cross Stitch Collection. And this is the one we're going to do today, this issue of Cross Stitch Collection. I cannot tell you what month or year because I searched high and low in these magazines. Oh, not true. You can with Cross Stitch Collection. So some of them you can't, and some of them you can find the date in here. Sometimes they just have an issue number, volume number. It's very frustrating, but this is January 2004. Anyhow, and I think it's the first British magazine that I bought. It has this is the reason I bought it, but I love so many things in this magazine. Wow. And then the World of Cross Stitching is another one that I have. They have some really adorable designs in there. We'll do that in another video, and probably not the next video because I like the World of Cross Stitching, but it's not one of my favorites. And I was sad to learn that from someone else's videos about cross stitch magazines, a British lady, and I won't say her name right, so I'm not going to try. She said that some magazines had ended and been kind of merged into the World of Cross Stitching. And she said that the World of Cross Stitching is now kind of like the different magazines. So it would be different from what I'm going to show you. This is what it was like, more than 10 years ago, probably. Again, this particular issue is issue 133, although I'm not sure if that's the one we're going to look at when we do the World of Cross Stitching. So because they're bigger, they don't fit in my 3-ring binders and my little page protectors that my American magazines fit in. So I buy these pages that you can buy to put in scrapbooks, the ones that have, this is a bad example because they've come off, but the ones that have these little metal things that they fit into the kind of scrapbook that has straps, not the ones that have posts. Anyway, you can find whatever you can find. In England, they actually have binders that fit the magazines, and I don't know if they have any kind of page protector. You might just put them in the binder without a page protector. Another magazine I think I only have one of these because it's not one of my favorites, is Cross Stitch Crazy. However, they had a flower fairy. I love the little flower fairy designs. And they must have had some other really cute things. Oh, I might have gotten it for the Welsh Castle down here. So, that's would be one of the reasons I would love to get some magazines from other countries, and that is each country has those things that are kind of the things people are passionate about. So you can get lots of little log cabin patterns here in the US because of how common log cabins were, and it's kind of like this nostalgic thing, and they're in all the old antique samplers and things. And so the British have all these great castles and fancy houses, and so they have those in their magazines. You can get that sometimes in an American magazine, but they just have more of it in the British magazine. So I would love to get Russian magazines. And I don't know, Afghani. They may not have any magazines in Afghanistan, but I love all of it from everywhere. Um, but I can't read all of it, and I can read the ones from England. Although sometimes we do mean different things when we speak, so that can get a little tricky sometimes. They have one called Cross Stitcher, not the Cross Stitcher like the American magazine I showed you, but Cross Stitcher. This is the more well-known magazine called Cross Stitcher. And look at this beautiful lady. So I only have a couple of Cross Stitcher magazines. We'll look at one of those. And I guess I have about 3 of those. Again, although I love the British magazines, you know what? If they don't have patterns that I really, really love, because they're so expensive, I'm less likely to invest in one. And then Cross Stitch Gold. I love Cross Stitch Gold. But the British lady in her video said that it's stopped. There aren't any more Cross Stitch Gold. So I can't go and buy more in the store. I'm probably not going to find it in a yard sale or a thrift store, or I mean online, I guess. Maybe somebody doesn't appreciate what their mother or aunt had, or their wife left them and she left behind her cross stitch magazines. I don't know. Somebody's getting rid of their cross stitch gold, and I can buy it. But if they're trying to sell it for the same price, I don't know. Anyway, but they even have some that look kind of like an American sampler, a little bit. So anyway, but we'll look through those magazines. Some lovely patterns and cross stitch gold. I'm getting all turned around as to how I have them organized. That's not the only ones. There's a couple more. Sorry, it's so noisy with the plastic. Mary Hickmott's New Stitches. I have one of her magazines, and I love it so much. And it's probably not being printed anymore either. And I could never find it all that often anyway to begin with. But anyhow, see those pretty ships? I just love that. And she would often have other kinds of stitching. So the title New Stitches, not just cross stitch. And there's one that I'm going to do when I'm going to do the 2 German, well, I have a couple German magazines that it's not just cross stitch, but it has a lot of cross stitch in it. And then there's this one called Cross Stitch Creations. It's in English, it's published in England, but the designs are all these French designers. So I think of it as my little French magazine that the British made accessible for me. Because even the designs, like, they have French words for everything underneath it, but also the designers are French. Everything is in French except not the instructions. Hallelujah. So anyhow, but that is for another day. Today we are going to do cross stitch collection. With the American magazines, I showed you 2 issues of each magazine. But wow, just 1 issue of a British magazine is going to take a while. So I think I'm probably just going to show you. I knocked something off. It's okay. It's an empty water bottle that I should have been more careful about. Sorry for the loud noise. Kind of scared me. Anyhow, look at this cover. I love everything on here. Everything. This has a pull-out pattern. I think it's the only magazine I have with a, well, no, those German magazines have pull-out patterns. But anyhow, not very many of the magazines that I have pull-out patterns. These are like little dog pillows you can stitch. There's the polar bears. Has some special kind of thread you use to make it have a special effect, I think. The beautiful flowers, crocuses, and snowdrops, and this lovely old-fashioned lady with her little dog. And since, different products are different everywhere you go, like from the US to Canada to England, I'm going to go ahead and show you this advertisement on the back for a stand, simply because it might be one that is still being made. I don't know. Maybe you're an American living in England or visiting England, and you can get yourself one of these little stands. Okay, so right when you open the issue, by the way, this is issue, well, I told you it was January 2004. It's issue 100 for Cross Stitch Collection. So I kind of moan and groan about the American magazines not having very many pictures with their table of contents, and this is probably why. I'm kind of limited as to how I can zoom in on the picture because it's my laptop and my skill level, and because of how big these magazines are, it's a little trickier for me to get anything in the top part up very close. So, but you can see they had a lot of pictures to show you all the different projects. Maybe not every project, but a lot. And then their little editorial is right here in the front as well. And then they have a lot of advertisements. And sometimes I'll think that it's a pattern that I'm going to get to have in the magazine. Even on the cover, they'll have something that I think, oh, I get to stitch that. Not so. Sometimes it's just an advertisement. It's a little bit tricky. I suppose the British are used to it, and it doesn't trick them, but it tricks me. Anyhow, so they have a website that has an advertisement for all the different kits, probably. They might have pamphlets, but a lot of these have kits, And kits seem to be a big thing in England. A lot of the people here talk about doing kits. So here we start off with Winter Wonders. So that's what they call this pattern. So because the pages are bigger, we get a nice big picture of the project. And when you look at your patterns, the patterns are bigger, which makes them easier to see or read. This is very nice. There are a couple of smaller projects you can work from the same pattern. Sometimes they use specialty fabrics just like the American designers, and if you can get a hold of it, that's great. You might just have to find a substitution that you would like. This looks like a hand-dyed fabric that's very special. It's lovely. But I was looking at how much some of these hand-dyed fabrics cost, and I thought, I am perfectly content with my less expensive way of cross-stitching. Anyway, so let's see. I need to hold this in a way that you don't see the pattern so we don't get in trouble. They have a very substantial letters section, and I love reading the letters from these British ladies who cross-stitch or do needlework. They're just fascinating. I mean, I think letters from all kinds of people are fascinating. I don't know. Okay, like Henry VIII's design with his wives. I mean, didn't he execute a few of them? I mean, it's beautiful. And maybe the British look at it differently. I watched that movie, The Other Boleyn Girl, right? Oh, what a nice guy until not a nice guy. It would just be I guess it would be an interesting conversation piece. uh, I don't know. To me, that's kind of like doing a cross stitch of Richard Nixon, but not my favorite British monarch, I guess. Um, but they have them of the Queen and the nicer people too. So anyway, everybody's different, I guess. Then they have what will you stitch, and they have like a little questionnaire for their writers to write in and tell them what they want to stitch. It creates a great sense of community the way they do their magazine. And here they have where people have responded. I guess these are more of the letters. This is like 4 pages of letters from readers, along with pictures of them stitching designs that were featured in the magazine and telling how they used it, what they did with it. Like, um, sometimes they ask them, for other things as well. I don't know. And they have their responses are not like short. They have like nice long responses. I enjoy it not just for the cross stitching, but for what all there is to read as well. Here we have our polar bear design. So cute and very colorful. I don't really think of winter as all that colorful, but this would make you think that it is. And it is true when the sun is going down, the colors on the snow is very pretty. So anyhow, and then they have designer features. So you get to meet all these neat designers. This one is Christine House. Let's look at her work. And when you look at the advertisements in a British magazine, you just realize all the possibilities that you wouldn't have realized if you stuck to just the American magazine. A lot of these are kits. I don't do kits so much. I have a couple. The first design I ever did was a kit. Here, this is something I always think of. You can always win kits. You enter these little contests to win a kit, which is quite a thing to win because some of the kits are really nice. But buying a magazine in the US, this is always already over by the time you buy the magazine, and you're not going to get entered in the contest or anything. But it is fun when they show somebody that won a kit and everything they got. I love this design in this magazine. Oh my goodness. Isn't that just beautiful? This is London at St. Paul's Cathedral, and the designer is Sheila Hudson. I love this here where they show, they say it's all in the detail and they show a close up of the stitching. Lots of windows in that pattern. But they point it out and say, work the white stitching first to stop it picking up other colors. Those are like little helpful hints of a way to stitch that they recommend. They have a lot of that later on. This is what's going to be coming up in a future issue. So anyway, I'm trying to make sure I'm not showing you the patterns. I'm not sure if I'm doing a 100% great job. Here they have a lot of things you can buy, and I love looking at this. Sometimes the things you can buy that they list are things that I can buy. I have this book, and I love it. It's a book on black work. Sometimes they might be harder to get in the United States. So they had a lap stand and just, like beautiful things. They had over here, I don't know if you saw this, diary dates and snippets, which were things going on that people could go to, like the Knit, Stitch, and Creative Crafts Show Northwest at the GMX Center, Manchester. So none of these are going on now, but just if you get to go to England, make sure the other people in your group know you want to go by some of these incredible places for exploring needlework. It's really great. So yeah, anyway, so I'm going to skip over some of the stuff that's in here, even though they have a ton and it's really great because it's so thick. But I did want to show you this. So this is about Madeira threads. They have silk threads, and one of my issues of the magazine, I don't think it was this issue, came with some silk threads attached. So that's something that the British magazines do. They have like little kits or other little things that you get when you buy it. I mean, you are paying like $10 to $13. That's kind of a lot. But anyway, usually at least 10, maybe as little as 9 for one of their magazines. And they include little things like that. They're little kits with tiny pieces of fabric and a tiny bit of floss. But, for somebody who wants to stitch right away or who's like giving a gift or something, sometimes that's kind of nice that it has that. Here we go. This is adorable. And I think they show how you can stitch it without the phrase and finish it so that the pillow is shaped like the dog. Oh yeah, they show that down here in the corner on the other page. Right here. It even has the little cushion that the dog sits on. So they have different colors, like they have brown dog and black dog, and 2 different patterns for the brown dog and the black dog. So you could have matching ones, and I love this. Create a doggy doorstop. You can make them to be used as ornaments on your mantelpiece or as attractive doorstops. So they show you things to do. And they give you DMC, Anchor, and Madeira floss colors for this. I don't know if every British magazine does that and if it's just some of them. Now, this is the pull-out pattern. I'm not going to show you the whole pattern, but just it's like a different kind of paper. And it's in black and white, but it makes for an enormous pattern for this gorgeous design that I don't know why I haven't stitched it, but it's beautiful. So I love the magazines that have the really fancy designs that I might not have stitched yet, but the goal is there to get around to it at some point. The princess on her beautiful horse. It's a unicorn. Sorry, you can't see the whole picture because I haven't pulled the pattern out and I'm not taking it out. But here's the close-up. Beautiful details. So the designer is Karen Britton. Not really familiar with her in all these years. They have great giveaways. These are for people who get subscriptions to the magazine, I believe. So they give away all these nice things. So this pattern, the snowdrops, the same page that has the pattern, well, not just the page, at the very back, the back of the magazine, if you wanted to, you could cut this out and then cut out the middle, and that could be the mat for the design that you stitch. And that's really cute. I think that maybe British people like to do that a lot, or other people like to do that a lot, not just British people. Maybe me, not so much. I think I would just want to frame it. But what they show here, it does look really cute framed that way. And then they show you the designs they're going to feature in upcoming issues that kind of coordinate or go along with it. And you can see that they kind of talk about the design. There was a lot that they had written about it, about snowdrops, about the designer. You know, January's birthday flower is the pretty snowdrop. They give you like the scientific name for it, and just, I don't know, it's a nice approach to a magazine I really like. So here they were celebrating that they'd had 100 great issues. So these are the people working on the magazine and some of the beautiful things people have stitched from their magazine. So you probably can't find Cross Stitch Collection anymore either, if it's all World of Cross Stitching now. Or Cross Stitcher, you can get Cross Stitcher and some of the magazines that have like the smaller designs. Anyway, which is your favorite? And they have a bunch of the projects that they have, and they wanted to know what people liked the best. I think that's cool. And then what other designs might you like to see reprinted in the future, like reprinted in the magazine that they had done before? And then over here, they have what people had responded before when they asked that. And it shows the designs that they loved that were their favorites. Again, lots of big advertisements, including advertisements for like events going on. I do like that the Madeira comes in a nice little packet. I don't know if I'm saying that right either. Madeira. Advertisements from other magazines. You don't usually see that in an American magazine, so maybe the same people published Cross Stitcher and Cross Stitch Collection. I'm not sure. So anyhow, then they have these cute little cards. They do that a lot in the British magazines, like all the time. Some of them are really cute though. Okay, again, one of my favorite designs in the magazine. So we are going to look at this. And if I were to stitch this, I don't know. Would I stitch this for myself? Would I stitch this for my mother, who I think would love it? She would love the color on it and the little dog. She'd love the pretty, just feminine aspect of it. My sister loves purple. My best friend loves purple. Huh. Actually, a lot of ladies like purple. I don't know. This is really cute, and I can think of a lot of people to make it for. But it's not that I wouldn't like to have it too. There's a lot that I would stitch for me, so I think that might be one of the ones I would consider stitching for someone else. They show you close-ups and details. It's really cute. The way they did the dog is really adorable. I actually really like the plant next to her too. Um, so they have a thing about better stitching tips, just like all the different kinds of things that you can do to stitch and do things right. And it goes like it's 3 pages at least because it was 100 things, right? So this is an actual article written and published in a magazine with the idea that their readers are going to read it. That they have an audience of people out there who actually like to read, like to learn, and improve. I kind of feel like that's getting lost a little bit in our world. It is great to have YouTube and all the videos and all the internet things, but I like picking up a magazine and reading it. This is where they kind of give their opinion on kits that you can buy that are out there. I think that's really neat. And I just love some of the things that make the designs more British than American. It just gives it a uniqueness, right? That you aren't going to find in your American magazines. I don't think you'll find that in an American magazine. Also, just the animals that they decide to feature. They're going to feature the birds and animals that they have or see, the environment in which they see them. This is more reviews. Here they're going over different kinds of fabric bands. I don't know if you've ever bought this before. It can be handy. It's like my cover after all these years, 19 years, is finally come off. Probably because I'm handling it so much at one time, which I don't usually do. They have something called National Stitching Week. I don't know if we have that here, But one of the awesome things to show you here is all the different kinds of stitching that they show you. Isn't that neat? And then they have a place where you can order everything you need to stitch different designs. I am going to show you this one, which is an evening bag. I think that they have done this with specialty flosses, and then also some beads. Yeah, a metallic silver and a rayon blue. It gives it a really cool look. So look at the design. The pictures are kind of big in the British magazine, so maybe it's okay that I'm not zooming in as much. And then they have close-ups as well to show you. And then they give you instructions on how to make the evening bag. And I don't know, they just spend time talking about it. You can see that they love it. It's fantastic. They have all the charts in here that I'm not allowed to show you. So here's an advertisement for a British magazine I don't have called Quick and Easy. And that's because the projects were quick and easy. And what I liked about the British magazines were they were big and complicated. So I never bought Quick and Easy cross stitch. And I think the lady in the other video said they don't make that anymore. Anyway. Here we have more like just instructions. This is more like basics. Oh, pardon me. Whoops. Well, that's kind of a chart meant to show you how to follow a chart, but we won't look at it anyway. But they have it in there to kind of teach the beginner how to use a chart. And then here they show you about finishing, which is an important part of the whole ordeal. Also, that you can buy back issues and the binders that I mentioned. Open it up. Yeah, it looks to me like the kind of binder where you just slip the magazine in through like a little strap that hangs down. But their older issues of the magazine are awesome. Not such an easy thing for an American though to order back issues. They have their little advertisement section, which normally I don't spend time showing you this, and I don't know, they could have gone out of business in 19 years or moved, but I'm just going to, just in case. I won't show you all of them, just that one page. They were kind of nice, big advertisements. And then they do this great thing where they say, this is what your next issue is going to look like. And that is what the next issue looks like. And I bought this issue. And it's a great issue. It has their big pattern. They always have a really big pattern. And the big pattern was this lovely castle. Not to put down any of these other patterns. This is one that uses kind of special flosses, I think. Anyhow, and again, like I said, they always have cards in the British magazines. And this is an example of something that I saw this and was like, really? You don't have the pattern for this? Like, I want to stitch this. And is it a pattern or kit or design I've ever found? No. I think I might be able to order it online, but that's just incredible. This is Barbara Thompson Designs. They do put in here how to get it. It's just, yeah, I really enjoyed showing you my British cross stitch collection magazine, and I'm going to enjoy showing you all the others, and then the one that I call my French magazine that is printed in England, but all of the designers are French. And then the two German magazines are Anna. I don't know if you're familiar with Anna. Let me know which British magazines you have, if you have any, if you've stitched anything from them or someone's made something for you from them. I'm already jealous. And yeah, if you've been to any of the events they have in England, the classes, the wonderful shops, any of the museums or places you can visit where they have this just incredible needlework that you can see. It's just great. I feel very stimulated and excited about cross stitching after looking at that magazine and telling you all about it, and I hope it did the same for you.